and welcome to Lilybug's Library. My name's Linda, and we're going to talk today about the first books that I've read for middle grade March. So the first one I read was The Happy Hollisters by Jerry West, and I can't say for sure when it was written. I believe probably around the 50s, would be my guess, maybe a little earlier, but somewhere around there, I think. So it's about the Hollister family who are moving to a place called Shoreham. And when they go to move, they have two moving vans, a big one and a small one. And the small one has all the children's toys and things in it, and the big one has the household goods. And when they get to Shoreham, the big van has arrived, but the little one doesn't arrive. Someone has stolen it, and all of the toys and things that were in it. So the family tries to get settled in. They, start to make some friends. The father starts at a new job, and the kids spend a lot of time being kids, playing outside and doing different things. And in between, they're trying to investigate to see who it is that may have stolen their toys, especially when they start turning up around town. So it's a good mystery, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was kind of like getting a warm hug because, I read them as a kid, and when I started reading it again, it's like, oh, I remember all these characters and this place, and so that part was really sweet. Now, there wasn't, some things weren't wrapped up in the story, which I was kind of hoping they would be, but because it is a series, I guess it continues on. There's kind of a secondary storyline about a bully, which I was kind of hoping would be wrapped up, but it was not. But the kids were, it was very different back whenever it took place, back in the 1950s, we'll say. A lot of time spent outdoors doing things with their friends. The kids are all very well-mannered and polite, and, not that kids aren't now, but, it was a different age. The only thing I would say, as far as something not being politically correct in it, they do, of course, because it was, again, in the 50s, they play cowboys and Indians and things like that. But even then, there's nothing that, they don't say anything that would be derogatory. And there's 5 kids, so it's kind of good for a lot of ages because the oldest is 12, the youngest is 4. So it kind of would appeal to just about any child that, was in between that range. It just means the 4-year-old or maybe a 6-year-old might need it read to them. But, it was a great story. So that one I would give 4 out of 5. And the next one I read was Little House in the Big Woods. So this is the first of the Little House on the Prairie series. And so this one was about Laura Ingalls and her family. There's her sister Mary, who's older. There's a younger sister, Carrie. And then there's her ma and pa. And they also have a dog named Jack. So they are in this little house that their pa had helped to build. And pioneer life is not easy. This takes place back in the 1800s, I believe. And it's, I don't remember, I didn't remember much about it. I had read all the books and I'd seen the TV show and things, but to know what was in the very first book, I really didn't remember. So it was different than what I thought. A lot of things about what life was like back then, which, it could be very interesting for kids, and still, I found it interesting too, even though I knew most of those things. But there is a lot of, where they're dressing a deer, and they're, making venison, and they're, making homemade toys for Christmas or birthdays or something, and then there's a big trip to town, and lots of things in it that I don't think kids experience today the way that they would have back then. And they're also a lot more practical, I think, because they had to be. So the kids didn't really think anything about their father having to hunt or anything like that. And I think nowadays a lot of kids probably, especially kids in the city, would have no idea about that. So Anyway, I found it really good, really interesting. Great if you're a homeschooler, a school mom or dad, and you decide to, do a lesson on the Pioneer Days. I mean, it's perfect for something like that. So anyway, really enjoyed revisiting it, and that one I would give 4 out of 5 as well. So the next one I read was so cute, and I'd never even heard tell of it. I just kind of, it was a random pick. And it was called Mouse Tracks, and apparently it won the Global Book Award in 2022. And it's a story about a mouse who gets lost chasing a butterfly, and he wants to go home, but he doesn't know how to get there. And so he tries to get help from different animals and things to make his way home, and lots of adventures happen. And in the book, there's a lot of rhyming, a lot of little poems in it, and some of them are so cute. There seems to be a poem for everything, so I really love that part of it. And it's not giving anything away, really, because it's at the very beginning of the story, but the mouse in the story his full name is called Another Mouse, because his family had 12, and he was the last one, and he says his mother was too tired to name him, so his father said, why don't we just call him Another Mouse? And his mother's like, okay. So then he just goes by Mouse. And then he meets a louse, which is like one lice, and the louse's name is One, and he says, like, why is your name One? And he says, well, because everyone always says one louse is one too many, so his name turned out to be One. So just things like that, like cute humor and a great little adventure story. Really enjoyed that one. I'd give that one 5 out of 5. And so those are the ones I've read so far. Oh, and I did just finish one that I'll just show you the picture of this way. It wasn't part of Middle Grade March, but it was prequel, I guess you'd call it. A short prequel to the Dogtown series, which I hadn't heard of until recently. But it's called Ready or Not in Dogtown. Isn't that the cutest dog? And it says Sandy Rideout and Ellen Riggs, but I know from getting Ellen Riggs' newsletter that Ellen Riggs is Sandy Rideout, and when she first started out, she went by the other name. So it's really got me excited for that series, so now I'm going to have to go read all the Dogtown series. So really enjoyed that. And she's also the same author that does the Bought the Farm series, which I'm pretty addicted to. So so that was nice to have another series from her. So with Middle Grade March, if you haven't already kind of figured it out and know where you're going, it's run by 3 ladies, Krista from Books and Jams, Katie from Life Between Words, and Amanda from On the Middle Shelf. So I'll put their YouTube channels below if you want to go and check them out and check out all the different people who are doing middle grade books this month. And there's also a couple of group reads. I don't think I'll be participating in those, but The Secret Garden is one of them, and it hasn't been that long since I read it, so I'm not really going to participate in that. And then the other one does look good. It's called The Moon Garden, and apparently it's a retelling of The Secret Garden, so that one would probably be great too. And I'm working on a couple of other books. One is The Girl Who Drank the Moon, so I'm probably about 30% through that one. And then I bought a couple of Harlequin books, and I'm going to blame Sarah at the Bookish Knitter for that one, because she always is reading Harlequin, and it kind of got me thinking, wow, it's been a long time since I read a Harlequin, and so now I'm starting to get into it. So this one is a Harlequin love inspired, and it's called Her Easter Prayer, and it's a canine companion book, number 4 in the series, I guess, and it's been really good so far. It's about a teacher who works at a school for kids who are having difficulties, and so she has a story of her own, and then meets this boy and his father who also have a story. So it's them trying to help the boy and kind of come together themselves as well. Won't tell you, I know that sounds really vague, but I won't tell you any more about it because I'll let you know more when I do the review of it. But it was really good. It is really good. Excuse me. We do have the Briar Club back, so Wonderful Husband and I are working on that. So we're about 60% through, maybe. And this time we've got a couple of weeks to get it finished, so hopefully that'll happen. And because of that, we've put aside the one that we were reading about Sherlock Holmes and Mrs. Hudson. We'll wait until we finish the Briar Club, and then we'll go back to that one. So those are the books that I'm working on right now. And having a lot of fun with middle grade March. It's I don't normally read middle grade, so it's been kind of cute to see all the different things out there, and so many, like every genre, there's so many books that I feel like you're kind of digging through, going, okay, would I like this? Would I like that? But it's fun, so I'm enjoying it. And I was out this morning for a massage, so I'm extra achy right now, so I'm going to go and put on my heating pad and get a nice cup of coffee and settle in for the afternoon. So hope everybody has a great day, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.